I'm Jenny Omer, I'm the principal at Phillips. We do have a couple more things to share before we jump into a Q&A session with you all. Before I move forward, I just want to say thank you so much to the Ed and C team. Just like, it's emotional, y'all. Like that was such a gift, I think, for all of us. So I just want to really say thank you to the Ed and C team for that. Cool. So we want to share a little bit more with you guys about our journey before we really jump in, all of us on stage together. And I want to begin by sharing where we began. So at the start of our journey, we said to ourselves, like, what needs to be true, right? We learned two main things. We learned one, that what you guys heard from kids and what you heard from Ayana earlier and Sarah and Donnell was not how we were doing school in Edgecombe County and probably in our state, right? Like we knew that we needed to do something really different, and we knew that innovation was going to be at that core, and redesigning and reimagining school was just a huge priority for us. The second thing we learned was that parents, kids, teachers, principals, community members have really good ideas about what school could be, right? And we knew we just had to listen to them. And so we came to this idea of empathy, right? And we decided that we were going to use empathy and really listening to our community and our stakeholders in order to innovate to create a more equitable world for our kids. So we actually began today by asking you all questions, and in a way, we did some empathy work with all of you. We asked you about, like, what do you want to see in schools? And I want to model a little bit for you all how we leverage empathy to get insights in order to inspire innovation. So here's a few things we heard from you guys. First, we heard that we want equal hope for all students. We also heard we want innovative, child-centered, and personalized learning. And I chose those two to start with because if you think about those two, there's some tension there. Like we want equal hope for all kids, and we want it to be personalized for every single kid individually, right? But it's in that tension of these insights that we can really start to imagine what school could look like. How do we create a school where every kid gets what they need and has the same amount of like this hope and knows that tomorrow will be better than today? A couple other things we heard from you guys. Student designed, student driven. Parents are engaged, barriers to access are eliminated. Focus on social and political relevance and civic oriented. And then inclusive and accepting of all types of students. So if we were going to design now out of these, we would develop some insights and say, out of these insights, what are some just crazy ideas that we might put out there? And as you guys can see, we ended up designing the micro school that we currently have. But we want to start doing some more empathy and modeling a little bit more for you all with people who matter most. So could you all give a huge round of applause as our kids come on stage?
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Kenya Rena. I actually just started working at the micro school very recently, but we're not here to talk about me. I'm here to moderate a little bit of, I guess, a discussion or a way for you to hear more about the kids and their experience at the micro school day to day. So we'll start, and actually I'll start by allowing the kids to introduce themselves. So go ahead and start.
My name is Marjorie Dennis.
My name is Nicholas Lewis.
My name is Darquavius Lancaster.
My name is Sabrina Jordan.
Alright, so I'll go ahead and get started. What is the biggest difference between your experience this year and in previous years?
Well, one difference is that as students, as I said in the video, we get to make a lot of decisions. So we get to they give us some of the power so we can be able to choose what we actually want to learn, and like something like that is really special that we need to talk about, we'll talk about it, and it'll do it life. Like everything's all about what life is and how to understand it.
What's your favorite part of the day?
My favorite part of the day is RIC, and the reason why I say RIC is because the reason why I say RIC is my favorite part of the day is because it helps me get to really know myself, and it helps me actually be successful in life, and it actually helps me help younger kids get to know themselves so they can be successful in life and make the world better than it is now.
How has the micro school changed you and your future?
The micro school changed me and my future before I came to the micro school, my 7th grade year, I was on the verge of being sent to an alternative school because I was bad. So when I came to the micro school, I don't know what happened, but I felt more comfortable there. And the learning was so different, but it was easy at the same time. So it was easy for me to connect with everybody, like the students and the teachers. And ever since then, I just like being there.
So when I first started going to school, I didn't like school. I used to go to school for fun. And my 7th grade year, when I got the application to actually come to the school, and I got there, I was like, this is school for me. Because they actually sit down and take time with you, one-on-one, whatever you need, they there. It's caring and loving. It's all what a teen needs in school. And it's just wonderful there.
Thank you, Lloyd. Just give them a round of applause for coming. So now that they've shared a little bit of their experience at the micro school, what we want you to do now is really think about a similar question or something that you could ask a student around you to truly empathize with their experience at school. And once you come up with that question, you think about it, please feel free to ask one of our students how they feel about your question, get some feedback. Because it's really important that in doing this work, we spend a lot of time thinking about the people who this work is for and including them in that process. Thank you.
Any questions? Go ahead.
Do you think the micro school would be good with all kinds of kids, or do you think that it's something really extra special? I mean, it sounds special to me what you've got. Do you think all kids would do well in micro school?
Yes. I feel because before, when I got to the micro school, I always hesitated on it. I didn't want to be there. But time over, when I started staying longer, I started enjoying myself and the people around me. When I first got there, I used to just be a reactor. If you say something to me, I just start blowing up at you. But now I actually think about what I'm about to do and the decisions I make. So I feel I don't know if every kid would like it, but I feel it'd be beneficial for them. So they might enjoy themselves there.
And to add on for Clay's saying, for me, when I got there, it was kind of hard for me to start off by making friends because while I was in the beginning of when I started school, and it was just kind of hard to get along with everybody because my social life wasn't that good. So it was hard for me to make friends. But as I got there, it was the atmosphere changed from a regular school setting. And the air in the room was just so calm, respectful, and resilient. It was fun. And also I liked the teachers too because they cared and they actually have respect for you. So that kind of drove me into staying at the micro school.
Guys, you're saying a lot about really profound stuff, so you guys are awesome. But I hear you saying a lot about the relationships and how strong they are with your teachers and also with each other. Can you point to anything specific that the adults did to make those relationships happen? What was different about their approach so that you felt like they were building those relationships both with you and with your peers?
Miss O'Mara, she got me to come to the micro school. But when I first got to Phillips in my 8th grade year, at the beginning, I was already getting in trouble. Then she came to me about the micro school and said this would be a good opportunity for me to go to a good learning space and try to better myself. So I was like, nah, I ain't going there. But then I thought about it and I talked over with my mom and the other teachers at Phillips. They was like, I should go. So when I went to there, I was like, it was cool because I still had Miss Braden over there. Then I got to meet this man, and they was actually pretty cool teachers. So I was like micro school. Might have to stay here a little bit longer.
Hi, my name is William Jackson. I just wanted to know more about the Roses in Concrete part of the day, where y'all talking about identity and like what are some of the things that y'all learned or like how that made y'all feel?
Well, we did a project on identity and actually explaining ourselves in a poem about like what you were going through in life and what was the outcome. And so I feel like for RIC, it was a good part of like getting to know yourself and others around you, because like, for example, we did a project we got groups. We got Amistad, Thorough, and Incident, which I saw in the video. Amistad. But we did projects together for RIC. We sat down and did interviews to get other people's point of view about schooling and stuff like that. So I feel like for me, RIC is a big part of life because it helps you with your job, your career, anything you want to do in life. RIC is a big part.
To add on to what she said, like RIC helps me get myself better in the morning. I used to come to school mad in the morning, I don't know why. And when doing RIC with Miss Collins and the other teacher, it helped me prepare so I could cool down and just think about learning instead of being mad and wanting to do what I want.
RIC for me, it helps me like to actually get to know myself, so like I can see what my career is going to be.
And RIC for me, it's like, going back to what I said earlier about my social life, it's getting to know people, making connections, understanding, and then you can respect people more. And you know what they're going through and how they feel. And y'all can make connections and stuff and become friends. You know, you can have somebody that will have your back, that will love you, care for you, respect you. And it's great, it's fun. And it's people at Microsoft, it's just really fun.
I have a question really brief. First of all, thank y'all for being here, right here. I just want to let you know. First, I just want to say y'all are the most important people in the room. I want to say that publicly to you in front of everybody. Two, I want to know, what did you learn? What have you learned about yourself? Right? What have you learned about yourself from this process, from the instruction that you received from your teachers? What I hear from everybody is that this is about becoming better people. What have you learned about yourself?
I was actually good because Miss O'Mara, she always told me there's no such thing as a bad kid, just make bad choices. So I tried to build off of that, and I ended up finding out that I'm pretty good at a lot of stuff.
And like for me, it gave me a lot of potential that I thought I didn't have when I first walked in. And like the teachers helped me open up more like just be myself and what it really means to be a scholar. And it just helped a lot, because it really means a lot to me, because a lot of teachers don't do that today in society. Just be like, oh, well, that kid be all right, they'll be fine, he or she be fine, leave them alone somewhat. But they really helped us, and I appreciate that from all of y'all.
So to me, it's like being successful in life, because like they tell me, never give up, always try, no matter what you're going through in life.
And for me, it's like, I'm sorry, it's kind of hard, but so it's like, for me, it's like, it's just all about reaching out and going back, making connections, because see, when I was younger, I never really go out a lot, and I used to stay to myself, and I used to not be a people person, but now it's just like, I can actually go up to you and talk to you. Making connections is, for me, that's a key thing, because you can't be alone all your life, because you're not going to be able to make everything possible. You have to at least have somebody that will help you out at some point. And you got to be able to reach out to get help, because sooner or later you will need it, and you might not have nobody there for you.
Emily, can you hear me? Thank you for being here. I'm curious as to what changes your family's seen and what kinds of conversations you're having with your family since you've been going to the school.
My mom and my grandma, as soon as they heard about it, they wanted me to go. Like, they would start talking to me. They started talking to Miss O'Mara and Mr. Cannon about letting me get in there, but I didn't want to go. Like nowadays, I'm kind of glad they made me go, but my family now, they proud of me that I'm in a different space and I'm getting better learning so I can better myself in the future, and so I can better other people, like how they help me out. So now I got a good conversation with my family, but it used to just be all about my behavior.
When I first started, my folks, like, they weren't too sure about it, because it was like, what about the math, the science, like the basic stuff? But then when I started going home excited, telling them about all these wonderful things I done, they was like, you did all that in one day? I was like, yeah, it was amazing. And they came around to it, and they really liked it.
Well, for me, it's like, it was like a second chance for me, because I started off the year really rocky, and I just like, a lot of people didn't understand me at my old school. So once I got to the micro school, my mother, she was like, you gotta make this fresh start, you got to change, because sooner or later it's gonna get harder if you don't change now. I started thinking more, and it's like I started thinking before my actions. I started focusing on the main things that needed to happen, and everybody that was around me, it was like I kind of had peace, and then I felt like I can actually understand what everybody's coming from, and it took me a while, but I got there. And to me, I think of everybody as my family, so it's just like a hard connection to make, but once you make it, it's kind of hard to break it.
For me, it's like when I was in the 8th grade stuff, like when it's not interesting to me, I used to like doze off and stuff because I don't want to hear what you got to say because it's not interesting to me. But now, the stuff that they teach me, I basically like keep thinking about it because it's going to help me out in life one day.
How do your expectations differ? Your goals differ from before Phillips and after Phillips?
For me, I used to go to school like I just want to get out of high school. Like that was the only point for me. But when I started sitting down thinking like you got more doors that you can open. Like it's a lot of stuff you can out here to do. So like I'm thinking about now going to college, getting a associate's degree, my master's for guidance counseling for all types, therapists, all that. So yeah.
For me, it was kind of like what Sabrina said. Make it out of high school, and I don't know what I'm doing after that, but now I think about college like I always wanted to be. I'm a Duke fan. So I always wanted to go there. And nowadays, that's all I think about. Like, if I can make it there, I achieve one of my biggest dreams out of life. And just try to improve over that. Because I did a project about dropping out of school. And, like, the things I found out, you cannot be successful without a high school diploma. Like, you might can, but it's going to be very hard. So now, I'm going to graduate from high school without the option. But I'm going to make sure I get accepted into a good college, too.
For me, it was like, I always thought about the future, but the thing is, I never thought about the present. So it was kind of hard to figure out what to do now so I could succeed for the future. And for me, it was like, I want to go to college. I want to be in the pros with NFL. My favorite team is Carolina Panthers. I want to be in the music business. But I wasn't really serious at first about like doing now instead of thinking about later, because you have to worry about what you have to do now in order to get there. And it was kind of hard for me because I always think about the good life, the good stuff, but sometimes bad stuff happen and it's like a setback. But you also got to think about this. Look up, what do you see? I see the sky. But what I also see is my spirit. What's in my spirit is Jesus. And he's always there for you when you need him. So think of him. He's the peace. He's the key. As long as you think of him, he will take care of you. So now that, I started going to church and it changed my perspective in life, and I'm doing better now, so I'm going to happy.
For me, when I was like in middle school and like high school, I got into like in elementary school, I got into a whole lot of trouble. But when I like switched schools, switched counties, it actually changed. It actually changed from a lot, because in the past I could have been. People told me that you're never gonna make it in life, but I always told them, as long as I try, I probably will make it. I don't listen to what people say.
So y'all talked a lot about the relationships that you've built in your school with your teachers and with each other, and I'm curious to know if you think that that could happen in a larger school setting, or if there's something about being in a micro school with fewer teachers and fewer students that's really necessary for that to happen.
I feel like it can happen if everybody put in the work to do it. Because like in our school, you got to put them 100% and more to like meet everybody's need and understand them. So I feel like if it do become a big school, the teachers, students, anybody got to put 100% and more to do the job and get the job done.
Well, off of what she said, like, I think it could be a bigger school. But I like it now because they got 2 rooms. For one of the rooms is called the backspace. We go there and we want to do our work in a silent space. I like working by myself, but I feel like I get more time to do what I need to do, and I ain't got nobody distracting me. So I feel like if it was a bigger school, more kids would get what they really need, and like everybody's needs will be fulfilled, and teachers probably will get better on, I don't know how to put it. Yeah, get a better experience with working with students.
The way I think of it is, everybody gotta be on the same page. If you're on different pages, it might not work, but you gotta work at it to progress. And if you do enough, not enough. You have to do more than enough, actually. Because at some point you have to focus on the key points of what you're trying to do. And if we're trying to make this school of innovation bigger, everybody gotta be on the same page, because not everybody is going to like want what we have, because it's different, it's new. Some people don't like to do new stuff, but hey, we gotta work together in this and help everybody out, because that's the only way we're gonna get through.
Okay, I'm sorry to cut the kids off because they are the most important people. Yep.
One more question.
Oh, okay, sorry.
First of all, I just want to congratulate you because you have learned some lessons that will be important throughout life. So congratulations to you all for doing the work. If you could share a message with teachers across the state, is there one thing that your teachers did that meant the most to you, that inspired you to want to do well?
Yeah. It was probably like when one day I came to school, I was mad. I don't know what for, but I was just mad. And I think it was Miss Braden. She came to talk to me about why I was mad, and I didn't have no reason. I couldn't tell her. I would just say I was mad. I didn't have a reason, explanation. I just said I was mad. Then she was like, with my attitude, it's not gonna get me far. And everybody always told me that, like, you can't get far if you got a bad attitude. So you need to be able to control it. So after that, I joined a group called Sparks. And it helps you with strategies with your behavior and anger, so you can succeed in life and give you goals that you need to complete. So that kind of keeps me, well, it keeps me on track. So what I really need to do.
Well, it's not just the teachers, but it's also Mr. Cannon, because he's kind of like a mentor to me. And since my dad is not in the picture right now, he's kind of right there for me. So he, like, sometimes I might do some stupid stuff and he'll pull me into his office, he'll talk to me. He might get mad sometimes, but he's been like a real mentor to me. He's like another version of a guidance counselor. So I really appreciate him. I appreciate the teachers, because these teachers, to me, are different from all the other ones that I've been with, because they would talk to you. They're not just gonna talk to you just to get the point across. They'll talk to you so you can actually understand. They will help you focus. They will help you be determined. They will turn pages in your mind. It's like they let you know like what you need to do because they're there for you. And they're honest, they're respectful. They're just great teachers.
Add on, like, I remember a time when my grandma, she got cancer, so she can't take me a lot of places that I need to go. And one day, Miss Mann came by my house and picked me up to take me to the Board of Education meeting down in Tarboro so I could present. And I was thankful that I had somebody come pick me up. And like, ain't been times when I got suspended and Miss O'Mara came by my house to pick me up to take me to school. Like, it's crazy.
So I hope what you've heard has spoken to, I guess, the power of students being here to share their experience with you. And we hate to cut them off early, but we do have a presentation today. So please thank them for being up here.
Every time I hear them, I find myself taking notes. Like, that's real, right? That's the real uncut version of what happens in school and what they need from us. As we were going through this journey of opening the micro school, we heard from parents, we heard from students, we heard from the community, and everything that you heard from them today, everybody's not always on board, right? With something new, something different. We had 15 students from 8th grade from Phillips, and we had 15 students from North, then they were 9th graders. So 30 students. In Edgecombe County, we have about 6,500 students. So do the math, and there are lots of students that are not receiving this type of daily instruction, that don't have the same type of relationships that you hear these students talking about. And so we know as a district, how do we expand? How do we make this bigger? How do we make it better? But also with having fidelity in the processes that we have going on at the school. I want to share just a couple things with you. And if you, as you were hearing today from us, if these are things that you heard us doing, because these are our core value, if you give us some snaps so we know that we are following what we've set as our core values, I'd appreciate it. Our first core value says children first. Did you feel children first? Great. Lead with courage. Push to improve. Stronger together. And last, choose optimism. Wonderful. So those are the things that we're doing. I love the name of this program, which is Bridge. And of course, I look at the book and I see an S at the end because my last name is Bridges, so I just automatically see it that way. I apologize. But you know, this is my conference. I'll add an S and give it to my husband this afternoon and tell him this was my conference. You missed it. I don't know where you were, what you were doing. But I do want to share one quick piece with you, and then Erin, our Director of Innovation, she's going to pop up and kind of walk us through the end portion of the program. This is something called, a poem called Bridge Builder, and I know the folks who are to my left, they've heard it so many times, they're thinking, again, Bridge Builder? But yes, again, Bridge Builder. So I just want you to think about this. This is a poem, and the title of it again is The Bridge Builder. An old man coming along highway came at the evening cold and gray to a chasm vast and deep and wide, through which was flowing a sullen tide. The old man crossed in the twilight dim, but he turned when safe on the other side, and built a bridge to span the tide. "Old man," said a fellow pilgrim near, "you are wasting your strength with building here. Your journey will end with the evening day. You never again will pass this way. You've crossed the chasm, deep and wide. Why build the bridge at evening tide?" The builder lifted his old gray head. "Good friend, in a path I have come," he said. "There followed after me today a youth whose feet must pass this way. This chasm that has been as naught to me To the fair-haired youth may a pitfall be. He too must cross in the twilight dim. Good friend, I'm building this bridge for him. So in Edgecombe, what we say is we are not thinking just about what it was like for us. All the educators, we've made it, right? We've made it. We're successful. We might not be rich, but we're successful, right? We have to look out for our children. Who's coming behind us? If we cross the bridge and we leave it so that they can't cross, what good was it, right? So we have to reach back. We have to prepare. We have to make sure school for them is what they need. We all had our angst about school and we could have made it better. Now is our chance. When I looked at the data with the gallery walk, and I love someone said, aren't we tired of admiring this negativity? How are we gonna fix it? So in Edgecombe, we're a small district, we're a rural district, high poverty, you can keep naming. But what we're not is we're not the typical district. We're gonna do what's right and what's best for our kids. So again, thank you, and I'm glad to be here.
Hi everybody, I'm Erin Swanson. I'm the Director of Innovation for Edgecombe County Public Schools, and I just want to, just to follow up what Dr. Bridges said, one of the questions that we often receive after talking a little bit about this project, and I think this question came up earlier, is, well, what's next? Like, what are you all planning on doing next year? What's gonna happen to these students who are a part of this pilot, and then what's gonna happen in Edgecombe? And so we've been trying to think a lot about how we sort of navigate the tension between what you see up here, right, which is bold action now. Like, we need to have bold action. We need to do more for our scholars. We need to give more students the opportunity that these students have had. And yet we want to do it in a really thoughtful way. Like, we don't want to scale things that don't work. We don't want to do the wrong things, right? We want to make sure that we're being really thoughtful, that we're collecting as much data as we can, that we're having as many conversations as we can with our scholars, with our families, getting as much feedback as we can. So what we're thinking right now for next year, and this is still in the works, but what we're planning on doing right now is scaling some of these learning experiences that you've heard about today to all of the 8th, 9th, and 10th graders in the feeder pattern, in the North Edgecombe High School feeder pattern. So all of those scholars, which is about 150 kids, will have access to things like meta moments, like houses, like standards labs and design labs. So they'll still be engaging in some of the same types of learning because the scholars have said, like, they want more of that. You know, they don't want to just go back to a traditional school next year. They want these same types of experiences. So we're really excited about that. We're going to be engaging more teachers in this work. And so that's really, really promising. We also are opening up the school so that our entire district can see some of the things that are working on the north side, and we'll be able to take some of those lessons learned and engage with their students in some of these same learning experiences. But something we're really trying to be cautious of is saying, like, this is a plug and play learning experience, right? Like, that you can take this and translate it into any context, because what you all heard, the most powerful part of this was that this was a design process. Right? Like, this was human-centered. Like, we talked to families, we talked to kids in the north side, right? Which this North Edgecombe feeder pattern is on the north side of our school district. We talked to the communities. And we want all of the folks in Edgecombe to talk to their communities, to talk to their schools, to have these same conversations. And that's what we want for all of the Eastern North Carolina region, for all of North Carolina. So what we're most excited about sharing really is our process. And so we want to open this up. If you all have questions, if you want to know more about this process, if you want to visit, if you want to talk to one of us about this design work, this design process that we think is so powerful. In fact, we think it's so powerful that this is what our students are learning. We are more than happy to talk to you about that process. We're also more than happy to talk to you about the learning experiences that our kids are engaging in, because again, we do think some of them are really promising and could be powerful in different contexts as well, but we're also just trying to be really careful about saying, like, this is a model that can plug and play anywhere. So with all of that said, I'm going to invite my colleagues, Ayana and Sarah and Donnell, back up to the stage here just to close us out. And then I think we do not have time for additional questions at this point in time, but we're all going to be hanging out for a little while. We'll be glad to answer any questions you have after the presentation. So thank you all.
Hi again. Let me reintroduce myself. My name's Ayana, and I am changing the world through education, and here's how you can too. Ask kids and parents what they want and how they want it. Give us teachers, principals, counselors, social workers, etc., who actually want to listen to us and make decisions with us and not against us. Public schools serve all kids and are the future for everyone else's future. So we need to make changes that benefit us all.
Hi again, I'm Sarah. All of us are here today because we want all kids to have a great education. So together, let's start advocating for policies that give schools and teachers and districts more freedom and less standardization, that allow schools to be what the kids in that district need them to be. We can transform education for all kids right now by supporting public schools, by removing policy constraints that have prevented public schools in the past from thriving to their full potential. So let's work together to make public schools by all kids for all kids.
Hi guys, Dr. Hogan. We believe in the public school because, like you, we too believe in the unbridled potential of all of our children. However, our public schools operate in a current reality in which students' quality of education is largely determined by the towns they live in. It's largely determined by the income brackets of their family. This system of inequitable funding has kept public schools from justly serving all kids for generations. But working together, we can begin to change this historical narrative. We can be creative with our funding sources, partnering with community organizations, sitting across from our kids and our families, and with our philanthropists. And it takes people like you who still see the potential of public schools, investing in us to make a change. So thank you guys.
Sabrina, who are you?
I'm victorious.
MJ, who are you?
I'm a leader.
Quay, who are you?
Intelligent.
Nick, who are you? Ayana, who are you? Miss Mann, who are you?
I'm a baby.
Miss Swanson, who are you?
I'm an innovator.
Jenny, who are you?
I'm creative.
Derek, who are you?
I'm an artist.
Love it. Friend, who are you? Who are you? Let's clap it up. Let's clap it up. Let's clap it up. Let's clap it up. I'm a leader with a vision.
Make a choice. Yeah. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. I'm a leader with a vision, trying to make a decision. I'm a scholar with a voice, trying to make a choice. That's who I am. That's who I am. That's who I am. That's who I am.